A cold night in December, but things are about to heat up inside the Pitt Center here in Fairfield. Welcome to Sacred Heart University, everyone. I'm Justin DeVellis, joined alongside my broadcast partner, Joe DeSantis. Joe, we got a good one on tap tonight.
We absolutely do. There's a bunch of storylines here. Both teams have been struggling lately, so they're looking to get back on the winning track. It's the first time they'll ever meet. And also, I'm really looking forward to that point guard matchup. Two of the best point guards in the East are on this court tonight.
Let's talk about one of them, NJIT, Alejandra Thuniga.
Yeah, she's a sophomore guard, and last year she was Rookie of the Year and third team All-America East. 5'6" domino. She leads the team in scoring at about 15 a game. She's 81% from the free throw line. She can make the three, but what you really like about her, she has the toughness and the smarts to get into the lane, make that tough layup amongst the trees. You know, those tough ones she makes look easy. Sacred Heart has got to make sure they keep her in front of them. Otherwise, she's going to make plays for herself or her teammates.
Going to be saying her name a lot. Good thing she gave us a tutorial on how to say it. Now let's talk about Sacred Heart and Sajeda Bonner.
Well, Justin, she's the perfect complement to her teammate. That's the NEC's best player, Nysia Pryor. Deadly from three. 62% of her attempts this year are threes, and she shoots at about 38%. She had 5 threes and 20 points in the last game at Bryant. NJIT has got to know where she is as soon as she entered the building.
Sacred Heart, a little banged up coming into the contest. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But for right now, let's throw it on over to the third member of our broadcast crew, Molly Jacob. Hey, Molly.
Thanks, Justin and Joe. The theme of today's game is Ballin' for Babies. The Sacred Heart women's basketball team partnered with Nourish Bridgeport, an organization that feeds and provides materials for Bridgeport families in need. They supply for over 800 families, and that includes 400 babies. And right now, their diaper supply is empty. Fans that attend today's game can donate to the organization. The president and CEO, Reverend Sarah, told me that she is so thankful that the Sacred Heart women's basketball program is involved in hers. She said that when the basketball team comes to volunteer, her team comes to cheer. And when we get back from commercial, it's Sacred Heart women's basketball versus NJIT for the first time ever right here on NEC Front Row.
Let's take a look at the NJIT starting five. Kenna Squire, the senior guard, Aria Myers, Maddie Doggs, the freshman. And then if you Trinity Williams there too, and we talked about her before, Alejandra Thuniga rounding out the sophomore guard for the Highlanders. Now, Sacred Heart starting five. If we look at it, obviously Nysia Pryor, the sophomore guard, there she is. Amelia Wood. Nalise Dudley, the freshman from New London, gets the start. Sajeda Bonner, senior guard, and Sierra Johnson, the sophomore, rounds out the starting five for your Sacred Heart Pioneers. Now let's take a look at some of the keys to the game. NJIT. Joe, the Highlanders, what do they have to do tonight?
Well, if you're NJIT, you're shooting only 25% from three, but you're 76 from the foul line, so you got to get to the lane. That means you're playing physical. Also, Highlanders have 19 plus turnovers per game, way too many, especially on the road, so limit turnovers. Of course, they got to contain Pryor, the NEC's best player, and they got to limit second shots. 14 offensive rebounds per game they've given up. That's too much.
It's a lot of turnovers now for Sacred Heart and the Pioneers. What do they have to do to get back on the winning track here?
Well, you want to get number one downhill, okay? That's Nysia Pryor, number one. Number one is unstoppable in transition. She's Allen Iverson of the MAC, so get her in her game, up-tempo. And then if you're Sacred Heart, you want to force tough ones. They struggle from three, NJIT does, so take away Thuniga's drives. Make sure you contest aggressively. Just don't give up any easy ones.
And how about some of the injuries here tonight for Sacred Heart? A couple players banged up, out.
You know, it seems like early in the season for the past couple of years, Sacred Heart's been struggling Sierra Brannan's out. Okay, Olivia Tucker's out, lower leg injury, and Kelsey Wood got hurt in the very first game, so they are not playing today. So that's three, critical players. But, it's an opportunity for some other players to step up, use some of the freshmen. And this is a Sacred Heart team that, remember, has got their 6 best players back from last year's team that won the NEC.
They've dropped 4 straight games, Sacred Heart has, but the last 2 have been in overtime. So they're trying to really get this win tonight. NJIT on the other side, they've dropped 3 of 4. First time these 2 teams have ever met, but it's going to be a good one. I'll tell you what, I'm excited. And as Sacred Heart comes out onto the floor for the very first time with the little pregame video here, pregame ceremony, the lights are dimmed at the Pitt Center.
You scared?
A little bit. A little bit. But you're right here next to me.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere at the Pitt Center. The crowd is a little light today. Again, it's a weekday game, but we were talking about this early. Anytime you have Nicira Pryor on the court, it's worth the price of admission. As I mentioned earlier, she's like the Allen Iverson type player. She's not shooting the 3-ball well this year, but man, she does so many other things on the court. And life is about making other people better, and she certainly does it on the court.
There we go. The lights are back on. And how many teams bring back, their top 6 scorers from a team that goes to the tournament? How many times does that happen in today's day and age?
Well, I'm going to say something that hopefully doesn't get me in trouble. I don't think the transfer portal has hit the women's game as much as it has the men's game. So, but what you're saying is correct. A lot of players are transferring, looking for chasing more minutes, and for Sacred Heart to return their 6 top players. 6 started 10-plus games, 7 played 12 minutes or more. For them to be picked number 1 is no surprise. Now, NJIT, on the other hand, they return their top players also. They're picked number 5 in a tough America East Conference. And
now, Elise Dudley gets the start. We talked about that earlier in the day with the injuries, but she's from Connecticut. She stayed in the state to play at Sacred Heart, and then to now get a start here tonight. That's pretty big news for the freshman on a team like this.
Yeah, and Jess Minetti, head coach of Sacred Heart, likes her. She's left-handed. She can rebound. She plays with confidence. And she, as you mentioned, she's getting a nice opportunity as a freshman to get major minutes. And that, when Sacred Heart gets healthy with Brannon back and Kelsey Wood, then, Dudley's going to play a major part because of all the experience she's had.
Sacred Heart wins the tip. Officials for today's game, Carrie Lang, Tim Buckner, and Christine Vuong were underway. Nicira Pryor picks up her dribble, swings it out to Wood. Looking for somebody in the corner. They get it down low to Dudley, who spins, but she's going to be called for the travel.
Yeah, just a case of happy feet. It was a good move. It looked like she was rushed. She didn't have to rush, but you give Sacred Heart credit. Right away, they're going inside to the freshman to try and get a good look.
And they're putting the pressure on early. Thuniga driving, finds Williams underneath, but can't get it to go. And Sacred Heart's back the other way. This is where Pryor's so good. Stop and pop. It rims out. Offensive rebound for Dudley, and we're going to get a jump.
I think Sacred Heart got lucky on that last possession. Trinity Williams usually finishes that. Great pass by Thuniga.
Sacred Heart got the pressure on here, trying to trap. Ball gets rolled over. They swing it out to Thuniga, who puts up the 3. Off the front rim, Pryor with the rebound, and they're off and running. Bonner for 3. That rattles out, but another offensive rebound for Dudley. They reset up top. Sacred Heart in the all-whites. Pryor tries to get it inside to Wood. It's an and one. She'll go to the line.
Justin, I had one of my keys for NJIT is to limit second shots. Okay, they give up 14 second shots a game, and coincidentally, Sacred Heart gets 14 second shots a game. So once you get, Dudley gets that offensive rebound, now you're asking your defense to play another 15, 20, maybe 30 seconds of defense, and that time Wood was able to come away with the old-fashioned three.
Amelia Wood completes the three-point play, and another jump ball. This time it goes to Sacred Heart.
And you're seeing right away, both of these teams are the same, almost the same in that they're going to play mostly man-to-man. They'll switch some like exchanges. After made field goals, full court, dead balls, you're going to see a lot of pressing, three-quarter court, half-court traps, things like that.
Wood's long-range two-pointer is good. She's got the game's first 5 points.
And Amelia Wood can score. She's a sophomore. She averaged this year almost 11 points a game. Her three-point shot, she struggled only 25%, but right away she's been a factor.
Squire inside. That rims out. Williams gets the offensive rebound. That rims out. And we got another scrum for it.
I'll tell you, if you're looking realistically at Sacred Heart, and I don't want to be Debbie Downer here, Justin, but NJIT has not scored. But they've had 3 open looks, 2 offensive rebounds, and if you're the coach of Sacred Heart, if you're Jess Minetti, you can't just look at the score and say, oh, they haven't scored, we're playing good D. I just think that NJIT eventually knock those shots down. Got to do a better job if you're the Pioneers at contesting.
Never. You're never Debbie Downer. Nicira Pryor gets called for her first personal foul. Squire to Thuniga, who's guarded by Pryor, and there's a loose ball. Sacred Heart grabs it. Here comes Johnson. Trying to make something happen. Another jump ball. Is that the record for jump balls in the first couple minutes?
Not good, but you got to give Sacred Heart defense credit. I knocked them a little bit in the first few possessions. That time, again, one of my keys was to keep Alejandra Thuniga's job. I'm going to struggle with that name all day.
Yeah.
Keep Alejandra Thuniga's drive. Stay in front of her. They did with a double team, force her to turn the ball over.
And she said that happens. She said it happens.
Yep.
Now she drives, trying to get some space. Nothing doing. They were all over her. Dudley now going to run the break. Doesn't have numbers, but she goes on in and is going to get called for the offensive foul.
You know, there is a such thing as playing too fast. Everyone wants to play fast. I think in that situation, if you're Nalise Dudley, you want to change speed, change direction, slow down, let the guards handle the ball.
Inside, there's a lid on this hoop for NJIT as Williams tries to corral it. It's going to stay with NJIT, at least for the moment. Officials talking about something. Thuniga to inbound. 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Sacred Heart leads 5-0.
Good job by Sacred Heart. They're paying attention to the scouting port, knowing the out-of-bounds play. They did a good job of bumping cutters and taking away screens.
And you know Pryor was looking forward to this matchup all day. Thuniga can't get that one to go. Sacred Heart's back the other way. Wood lines up a three-pointer. That's too strong. Thuniga the rebound. NJIT in the all-red, Sacred Heart in the all-white. Pryor guarding. Williams inside. Finally, they get it to go. Trinity Williams, it's 5-2. Sacred Heart with a little bit over 6 minutes to go in the first.
You're going to see from NJIT a lot of 4-out, 1-in. And they'll do little big screens, big little screens. They'll post up their 5-men, their 4-men. They'll also post up a guard. But in that situation, Trinity Williams did a good job of getting position, being able to catch, turn, and score.
Take a look at NJIT head coach. You saw him there. Mike Lane in his 6th season with the Highlanders. He was an assistant at Bucknell.
Also a Division III assistant head coach, 93 grad from Notre Dame. Da, 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 da. I'm not a Notre Dame fan, but back in the day when I was a student athlete, I used to work their camp in the summer, and we would always sing that song at lunchtime. But anyway, fine institution, Notre Dame.
Rudy.
That's a great driving kick right there.
Too strong. Offensive rebound for the Highlanders is Pryor guarding, and we get a whistle here. 5:28 to go in the first as the Pioneers take over.
There's the full court dead ball. There's the 1-2-1-1 set up three-quarter.
Bonner gets her hands on it and swings it back up top to Pryor. Inside, tries to make something happen off the glass. Shrugs her shoulders. Nicira Pryor headed to the line.
And you know what the ironic thing there is? Thuniga was playing off her. The scouting reports that don't play her when she's got the ball 17 feet and out. So Thuniga was way off her, but she still took it to the rim, used her body. You know, we're watching this young lady play a year and a half now, and it never ceases to amaze me the tough shots that she can make in traffic. Just a terrific finisher. And remember, Justin, it's not how big you are, it's how big you play.
She completes the three-point play. Sacred Heart's lead now up to 6. As Faith Pappas has checked into the game for the Pioneers. 3 seconds against NJIT is the call. Sacred Heart will take over.
You know, I have to giggle when a referee calls it 3 seconds. You don't see that call, so it must have been she was in there for at least 5.
They've been on it so far early. A lot of whistles here. Pryor, top of the key, throws it on up, too strong. Thuniga with the rebound and a foul against Nicira Pryor. That's going to be her second.
Yeah, that's a problem early on. Look for the substitution. Your best player you don't want sitting for the rest of the first half.
We've had an exciting few minutes here. Nicira Pryor in some foul trouble. We'll see if the Pioneers can wiggle out of some trouble. They lead it 8-2 at the Pitt Center.
Looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
Football is the game of life, and it brings the community together.
Welcome back to the Pitt Center, everybody. Justin DeVellis, Joe DeSantis, and Molly Jacob with you here on this December evening as we get a look inside the Sacred Heart huddle. Head coach Jess Benetti using that whiteboard, trying to draw something up for these Pioneers as they lead 8-2.
11th year for Jess, okay? And last year, obviously, took her team to the championship in the NEC. How about this? We know this is not a conference game, but how about this record? 170 and 69 in conference games. That's 61%. She knows what she's doing. She's been here a long time. And certainly Sacred Heart University is lucky to have her and Anthony Latina as their women's and men's coach.
And Minetti, a recent Hall of Famer, the New Canaan Sports Hall of Fame, a recent inductee, as she and the Pioneers had such a great season last year, bring a lot of the players back this year, and trying to get things back on track here. Off to a good start against NJIT, but you look at the stats here so far in the first. NJIT, 1 of 10 from the field.
I thought they had some early looks, as I mentioned, the first 4 possessions that they just didn't finish. It's amazing that they're only down 6 points. But by the way, speaking of Auntie Latina, I got an early score. 2-0 Sacred Heart men over St. John's with 18:10 to go.
There you go.
Pitching a no-hitter.
At Carneseca, as Lily Anderson drops one in for the Highlanders. You think Rick Pitino's in the white suit tonight?
I hope not, because that's not a good look for him. Sorry.
Coach Latina should have showed up in that. That would have been good.
That's definitely not Anthony Latina's MO. He's going to have the the Sacred Heart pullover, and the Lululemon sweats / business attire.
Oh, Lululemon.
Yeah.
That's his ad deal.
Yeah.
He's got going with them. 8-4 here. 3.5 minutes to go in the first as that ball's swatted away. Sacred Heart's going to go back the other way. Wood takes it up. It's Nicira Pryor on the bench now for the Pioneers. Their leader. Somebody else got to step up here in the first quarter. 2 fouls for Pryor early on. Johnson stops, pops. It gets blocked, and it's going to stay underneath with Sacred Heart. Shot clock at 4. They're going to have to get a shot off quick. Bonner to inbound. So Jada Bonner goes inside, and a foul. She'll go to the line for 2.
You got to love both possessions for the Pioneers. Down at the defensive end, Emma Kirby, freshman. Again, another freshman like Dudley that's getting playing time because of the injuries on the front line to the Pioneers. But she was Gatorade Player of the Year, Emma Kirby was last year. You know, she committed Division II and then backed out. Sacred Heart really likes her. Coach Minetti told me that loves her hands, her rebounding. She's a post presence. And then on the offensive end, having the wherewithal, the understanding with 4 seconds to go in the shot clock, you got to do something quick. They stepped out Kirby, did a handoff to Bonner, drew the foul.
Bonner 1 of 2 from the line. Thuniga drives, can't get it to go. She's been quiet early. They're just giving her fits. I mean, they're playing good defense. Head coach Mike Lane barking orders. Wood inside, tough shot. And then Kirby can't save it. She stepped on the line. It's going to be NJIT's ball.
You watch Amelia Wood drive to the basket. I'm not saying she's not capable of that. She certainly is, but she's more comfortable facing up. 52% of her field goal attempts are threes.
Thuniga loses it, but NJIT gets it back. A 3 rattles out. And Sacred Heart's going to go back the other way. It's Bonner leading the charge.
46% coming into this game, 5 for 11. That ball hit every part of the rim.
Bonner, dangerous pass. Kirby inside, and she's going to get called for a travel, even though that ball did go down. It's a travel against the Pios.
Yeah, good defense that time by Lily Anderson. You know, she kept her footage. I thought Kirby did a great job of getting position. The post-entry pass was right there. And for the most part, Lily Anderson was able to, like I said, hold her ground. And the 5'11 senior did a good job of causing that turnover.
Amelia Wood with the nice hustle play. The ball almost took out Jess Minetti. Definitely not how you draw up the first quarter with Pryor's 2 fouls. NJIT working it around. Lily Anderson looking for somebody. It's Reese Vaughn driving. She gets bumped. No foul. Sacred Heart, the rebound.
Kind of surprised the foul wasn't called there. It was obvious. Vaughn did a good job of seeing the lane, the opening. And Pappas looked like she gave a little body check, but play on.
Sierra Johnson swings it out to Wood. Kirby sets the screen. Now she's going to fire. That rattles out. That was halfway down, too.
Yeah, looks like the big freshman's got good moves inside, fundamentally outside, has a nice 15-footer.
Reese Vaughn inside, can't get anything going. Anderson there, nice move up and under, and good. With under a minute to go here in the first quarter. 9-6 ball game. Nicira Pryor's been on the bench for the last few minutes. She has 2 fouls. Amelia Wood trying to do something off the dribble. Sajeda Bonner from the corner. Can't get it to go. NJIT goes back the other way. Trying to get it underneath. Kirby with some good defense. There's a turnover.
That's a turnover, and as I mentioned, they averaged 19. That's just a tough angle to throw that particular pass. Any post pass that's going to come for the middle, essentially you have to have the offensive post player in the middle of the lane with the defensive player behind you. That time, the offensive player was Trinity Williams was on the right block, and for her to enter that pass was just not a good move.
Shot clock turned off, under 10 seconds to go. Loose ball picked up by Johnson, who has under 3 to shoot. She's got to get it off, heaves it up and off the glass. At the buzzer, Sierra Johnson. They're going to take a look at this. How did she get that to go?
Well, sometimes be better lucky than good. The ball was loose. There was an attraction to the loose ball by both teams. She was able to pivot, knocked it in. I saw him at the end of practice yesterday, practicing half-court shots, so maybe that's something they work on.
Officials taking a look just to see if she did get it off in time. Kind of puts an end. How else would you want to end that first quarter? I mean, at the monitor, off a bank shot. And they say it's good. It's going to stand. (11-6). Sacred Heart after 1 quarter of play. Second quarter coming up from the Pitt Center right after this.
The Sharks are your inaugural Northeast Conference Volleyball Champions.
It's a day for the Knights as FDU wins it.
Merrimack Warriors are your 2023 men's basketball champions. Lofted far down the left field line. It is gone. A 3-run homer. Chambers in lane 5 runs away with it. The Sacred Heart Pioneers are Northeast Conference women's basketball champions.
We are excited beyond belief to welcome the Lemoyne Dolphins into the NEC family.
Always with her head on a swivel. Sullivan, that is filthy.
St. Francis, they win the 2022 Northeast Conference Championship.
Sierra Johnson looking for Dudley underneath, who gets that tough layup to go.
Well, I'll tell you, Sacred Heart, big players. Emma Kirby, Nalisa Dudley, doing a great job of getting position. You know, if you're the defensive player and your offensive player you're guarding gets that deep, you have to get around in front of them and force them the over-the-top pass. It's just 2 easy entry passes for Sacred Heart.
Thuniga gets her first bucket of the game to go. 2 quick buckets here to start the second quarter as Dudley trying to find help.
Well, if you're coach of NJIT, you're thrilled that that first half that first quarter is over. Justin, 3 for 15, 0 for 3, 1 assist, 6 turnovers in that first quarter.
Johnson can't get it to go with the shot clock winding down. NJIT back the other way, but Williams can't corral it. Johnson, Dudley, Pappas, Ty Davis is checked into the game, and Amelia Wood out there for the Pioneers. That's their 5. Davis gets her first few minutes.
And I noticed Nysia Pryor sitting on the bench for second over 2 fouls, moved her seat up to almost the top. So maybe, I know she's itching to get back in. As long as Sacred Heart has a sizable lead, I don't think you're going to see her the rest of the quarter.
Pappas gets one to go. It's 15-8. We're less than 2 minutes in to this second quarter.
And Faith Pappas is a transfer from Fordham. Had a nice talk with her. Being a Fordham Road guy, we talking about the different restaurants in Little Italy there in the Bronx. So, again, another player that's trying to find her role, trying to fit in, getting the opportunity with the players injured that Sacred Heart has.
Davis was guarding, and it's going to be a travel here. Pioneers take over. A lot of turnovers. They didn't listen to your keys at NJIT.
Yeah, hey, turnovers are not good, right? That's an easy thing to say. The worst turnovers you can have are live ball turnovers, especially with Nysia Pryor out there, because she turned those live turnovers into easy baskets.
Ooh, and a big collision as Dudley hits the deck. Officials are going to talk about it.
Yeah, no call. There's usually initial call being made. We're going to get a look at it here, and then you can come together. I don't think either one of the 3 officials. Regardless, let's make sure that these guys are healthy right now. Madeline Doggs, the freshman, looked like she got the brunt of that.
Referee's going to talk it over as they wipe up the floor.
How we're playing on here like no call was made, and I as you can tell, I'm speechless. There's got to be some type of call.
Well, you and head coach Mike Lane, he wanted to know what was up.
Yeah.
Sacred Heart's going to keep the ball here. With 14 on the shot clock, it's Davis. Almost got it swiped away. Now they're going to call a double dribble.
Well, I got to tell you another thing. That's another bad call because the ball was knocked out of her hands. Okay? Ty Davis getting some minutes here with the injured Pryor on the bench. She was pivoting. The ball was knocked out of her hands. She didn't even dribble it. So a little erratic officiating right now. And, you know, it's funny. When I coached, I thought the referees were horrible. Now is my 17th year of broadcasting. They're pretty darn good on every level. And a couple of missed calls right here.
Thuniga inside, can't get the layup to go. Trinity Williams, the offensive rebound. They kick it out to the wing. The 3 is good. Aria Myers, the first 3 for the Highlanders today.
And Trinity Williams, that's the 6th offensive rebound right there for the Highlanders. And that's certainly something that Jess Minetti has got to address in the locker room.
Sierra Johnson gets it close, just kind of throws it up. Can't get it to go. NJIT's off and running. Thuniga trying to get by Davis. She flings it out up top to Trinity Williams, who hoists. That's too strong, but another offensive rebound.
Yeah, that's 7. You know, a little surprised to see Williams take that shot. She's 1 for 9 coming into this game from the 3-point arc.
Thuniga with a hard take to the basket. She gets fouled. She'll go to the line to shoot 2. She's definitely going to the basket early on. Now she'll finally go to the line here as NJIT's cut the lead to 4.
Yeah, Thuniga's, I highlighted her and I talked about how she can make the open 3. This year her numbers are down a little bit from the arc, 28%. Last year she was 34%. But her greatest attribute is being able to read the defense, and she can get to the rim and make tough shots over the trees look easy.
0 of 2 from the line there. Wasn't able to get one to go. Score stays 15-11 Sacred Heart as Davis kicks it out. Trying to get it to Dudley underneath. She makes a move. Williams was guarding her. That's in and out. Thuniga back the other way. Trinity Williams off the dribble. Trying to back down Bonner. She gets it to go off the glass.
Yeah, big time post move for Trinity Williams. The junior showed patience. As she's putting the ball on the floor, her eyes are up. She doesn't sense any double teams, so she keeps it, makes the move, creates space, and finishes with the left hand.
And Coach talked about Williams on the defensive end, how good she is at blocking shots, but she's getting it done on the offensive end too.
Well, remember, this is a Highlander team that's only 25% from three. So if Williams starts to dominate in the paint, expect Sacred Heart to offer double teams off their perimeter players.
Dudley, the freshman, to Davis, who tries to feed Bonner inside. Some contact. Dudley, the offensive rebound. They get it back out to Johnson with 15 on the shot clock. Trying to drive. Wood hoists up a three. Off the back rim, no good. It's going to be NJIT ball.
Good job by Sacred Heart, getting the opportunity for a second shot, made the extra pass. You know, it's important when you're on the court, you know, whether it's a 2-on-1, a 3-on-2, or a simple half-court possession, you should know who's on your right, who's on your left. You pass up good shots to get great ones. Kelsey Wood, as we know, Amelia Wood, as we know, wide open, can make that three. She didn't, but that's a good shot for the Pioneers.
Bonner blocks Thuniga's shot, and the Pios are back the other way. Under 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Wood inside, gets her own rebound, throws it up again, no. And here comes Reese Vaughn. Only got Davis to beat. Falls down, it's going to be Sacred Heart's ball. And Vaughn just lost her footing or whatever it was. They tried to run the break. Couldn't get anything going. Sacred Heart had a couple offensive rebounds. Sacred Heart leads 15-13. We're right back after this.
For everyone, from players to parents, football offers unlimited growth with even more to learn. Visit futureforfootball.com to get ahead of the game. Find out where to play, what equipment to use, and get the latest from leagues around the country, including pro tips and parental info from the experts. These resources make it easier than ever to create your plan and make your play.
Welcome back to NEC Front Row. I am here with the president and CEO of Nourish Bridgeport, Reverend Sarah Smith. We mentioned that today's game was Ballin' for Babies. What does this partnership with Sacred Heart mean for your organization?
It means everything, because I'm also Protestant chaplain here at Sacred Heart. So I love this place, I love these kids, and the teams come and volunteer with us, and that's how we get it done. We have the largest pantry in Bridgeport. That we've had to shut our baby center because we didn't have money for diapers and formula. Now with this, we'll be able to open again. But also it teaches these young people, yes, they're good at basketball, but they must give back to the world. And so we give them that chance to grow, to learn, to do something good, and they help us help our neighbors.
That is so touching. You know, at Sacred Heart, we're such a close community. How are you hoping that the benefits of what you earned today helps during the holiday season?
Well, I hope it's an expression of our holiday season. Whatever holiday you celebrate, we're taught to give, to reach out, to make the world better, and so that's what we're hoping to do. But then I want people to capture that so they give in January, too.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for everything you do for our community. Back to you, Justin and Joe.
Thanks, Molly. Close one here in Fairfield, 4:47 to go until halftime. Sacred Heart leads it 15-13. We got an update, Joe.
Yeah, we got a men's score with a little over 8 minutes to go in the first half. Kyle McGee is leading the Pioneers with 5 points. They have 16. Unfortunately, the Red Storm has 24.
Amelia Wood drops one in. It's 17-13 Sacred Heart, as Nicira Pryor stays on the bench with 2 fouls.
Yeah, I mentioned as long as they have the lead, I think she'll sit till the end of the half. I think that's a smart move by Minetti.
Bonner tried to draw the charge on Williams, and it's going to go back to Sacred Heart anyway.
The charge wasn't called, but that's great weak side help to force the turnover.
Yeah, you probably love when the player takes the charge, right? When you were coaching, you probably love those players.
You know what? It's harder these days with the arc in the men's game and the rule. The point of emphasis this year is you got to get there sooner than you have in the past. But I was not real good at guarding someone man-to-man, but I was a team defender, and getting a charge could be crushing to the offensive team.
Johnson hoists a 3 and drops it to give the Pios a 7-point lead.
And that's their first 3. They're 1 for 7 from 3. And again, the Highlanders are 1 for 5, so not a great shooting night for either team. 2 for 12 from behind the arc total.
Thuniga gets the layup to drop. She's trying to find her way here in the first half. Down to Dudley, who spins and throws it off the glass.
Again, it's just a matter of Dudley, Emma Kirby, the Sacred Heart 5-man getting position too deep. Again, if someone has you backed up as far as she has, as Dudley had Williams backed up, all you have to do is get in front of her and total front her. They won't even throw it over the top because the rim and the backboard there. It's impossible to make that pass. Mike Lane immediately going to the substitution. Okay, you're going to see Lily Anderson, the senior, come in, and I bet she's been given instructions not to let the Sacred Heart post player get that deep. Go high side, go low side, depending on where the ball is. If the ball is above the foul line in the guard's hand, you got to be on high side of the post. If it's below the foul line, you should be on the low side. If you get caught way behind, just pivot and front the post player.
A little bit over 2 minutes to go in this first half. Amelia Wood with the mismatch, but her shot is blocked. NJIT goes back the other way. Thuniga can't get it to go. Offensive rebound for the Highlanders. That shot's good. And it was Avery O'Rourke who gets on the stat sheet for the first time tonight.
And you look at Thoniga, there's a steal again by NJIT.
Squire, here comes O'Rourke. There was contact. It's going to stay with the Highlanders. Good defense.
Well, I wanted to make a point. You look at Thuniga, okay, she's struggling from the field. All right, she's 1 for 9. But what she does is she gets into the lane and she draws the opponent's 5-men. And that allows NJIT to creep in there and get offensive rebounds. They already have 9.
Thuniga hoists, can't get it to go. 90 seconds to go in this first half. Sacred Heart looking for a bucket. Bonner hoists the 3. That's off the front rim. Rebound NJIT. It's Squire. Out to O'Rourke. They swing it around. Lily Anderson. Thuniga drops it down low. Wood trying to play defense. That shot's good for Kenna Squire.
I mentioned earlier, the Highlanders' offense is 4 out, 1 in, and they'll big little screen. Big guys come out, little guys, they'll post up. And you saw Squire, one of the smallest players on the court, post up. That's part of their offense. That's what they work on.
Another steal. O'Rourke as Dudley lost it. O'Rourke swings it out. Squire stepped out of bounds. Squire played and started in all 115 games at NJIT.
Yeah, that's Iron Horse stuff. Now, if you're Sacred Heart, you don't see this much in the college level, men's or women, but you see it in the pro level, 2-to-1, 2 shots for 1, work the clock. You don't see that. Now, don't be surprised if you see Pryor back in the game if Sacred Heart gets the ball offensively for the last shot.
30 seconds now, under 10 to go on the shot clock. Johnson puts up a shot. That's not strong enough, and NJIT takes over. 20 seconds to go.
Now, if you're the Highlanders, you want to shoot with 4 or less. That will give your team an opportunity for a second shot. And you can crash everyone, because if you miss and shoot at 4 or less, Sacred Heart's not going to have an opportunity to score down the other end.
Thuniga trying to take Johnson off the dribble. Shot's blocked, but we get a whistle. Foul's going to go against Sierra Johnson. Just kind of bumped her head there.
Well, I think it's good offensive basketball. They tried to get the ball to their best player, their penetrator, their player that can make plays for themselves and their teammates. Also, their best free throw shooter, who, by the way, is struggling big time here tonight. Now, if you're Sacred Heart, you could put Pryor back in the game, because she is a one-man fast break, and she can get the ball out up the court, make her miss, and get something to the rim.
0 for 2. Thuniga, NJIT gets the rebound. They're going to throw it back out there. She hoists the 3. Can't get it to go. So Thuniga heads to the line. Can't get it to go. Sacred Heart still leads it by 3.
Great job by NJIT. They X'd, which means the 2 NJIT players crossed. They got the offensive rebounder. Rebound. Thuniga's really had a tough time from the field. Tough shot at the end of the half to make.
Tough end of the half for her, but only trailing by 3 here. Sacred Heart holds that 22-19 lead. That first half, you don't get Pryor for a lot of that, quarter. Pryor really wasn't on the court. I mean, you kind of got to be happy if you're NJIT, right? It's only a 3-point game.
Yeah, well, the bottom line is UGLY. That was some ugly half. A lot of missed shots, a lot of missed opportunities. Without Pryor in the game, Sacred Heart wasn't really able to get the up-tempo. And if we mentioned Thuniga, the Highlanders' best player, had a tough half.
Let's go on over to Molly.
I'm here with first-year assistant coach Mark Taney. Mark, leading at the half, what do you like so far?
I like our effort. I mean, we're fighting. Our point guard goes to the bench with some really foul trouble, and the team rallied around her, really, and we fought that whole first half. So I love our energy and our effort.
What's the message to the locker room at the halftime?
Well, the message is we got to keep doing that, right? Even when Nye comes back, we got to keep working as a team with that energy and effort like we usually do. We got to take that through the whole second half.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck to you. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thanks, Molly. Thank you, Coach. Second half adjustments. Both teams will make them here after a first half that was interesting. I'll say that much. We'll also make some halftime adjustments. We'll be back with the second half after these messages.
The Sharks are your inaugural Northeast Conference Volleyball Champions.
It's a day for the Knights as FDU wins it.
The Merrimack Warriors are your 2023 men's basketball champions. Lofted far down the left field line. It is gone. A 3-run homer. Chambers in lane 5 runs away with it. The Sacred Heart Pioneers are Northeast Conference women's basketball champions.
We are excited beyond belief to welcome the Lemoyne Dolphins into the NEC family.
Always with her head on a swivel. Sullivan. That is filthy.
St. Francis, they win the 2022 Northeast Conference Championship.
For everyone, from players to parents, football offers unlimited growth with even more to learn. Visit futureforfootball.com to get ahead of the game. Find out where to play, what equipment to use, and get the latest from leagues around the country, including pro tips and parental info from the experts. These resources make it easier than ever to create your plan and make your play.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
Football is the game of life, and it brings a community together. White, black, boys, girls.
Flag, tackle. Football can revive communities.
That's why I think, football is on the right path.
Community with football is very accepting and loving to people who enjoy the sport.
Win or lose, they do it as a family.
It's not about where you were born. It's not about your gender. Or the color of your skin. Or whether you're rich, poor, or in the middle. No matter what you play, if you have the skill and drive to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby.
Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela burns it.
An incredible finish by Hall. The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org.
Dear college sports,
there's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
Sacred Heart prides itself on its commitment to innovation. After all, they are pioneers. That applies everywhere, the classroom, the athletic field, and on stage. But the place you can find that the most is in the Idea Lab. Please meet Gabe, a computer engineering student from the Jack Welch College of Business and Technology, who is here to tell us more. Gabe?
Thanks, Alex. When I was applying to college, I wanted to choose a place that felt like my home away from home, but also inspired me to grow. Sacred Heart's small class sizes compared to being in a big lecture hall really pushed me to commit. SHU never stops at status quo. It teaches its students to lead and succeed. The world and its future is going to depend on young minds bringing fresh takes, solutions, and creative ideas. At Sacred Heart, we take that seriously through having the right faculty and facilities for students to be at that front. For those of us who are interested, we came together to create what today has evolved into the IDEA Lab. IDEA standing for Innovate, Design, Engineer, Apply. It's my favorite spot on campus where I'd spend most of my time working on projects, hanging with friends, and training others in digital fabrication. The lab is equipped with machines ranging from 3D printers to an electronics area with an array of sensors, a characterization lab for performing your own biology and chemistry experiments, and a textile room for embroidering, sewing, and vinyl cutting. It's staffed with experienced professionals and students like me who are there to help you to become self-sufficient in making your dreams a reality. There is truly no better feeling than seeing a project come to life and sharing that joy with the friends you made along the way. Drones are everywhere nowadays, and the engineering program here at SHU really embraces the technology as a teaching tool. Students learn how to design the hardware and tune the software to get their drones up and flying. We're lucky to have a Quanza Autonomous Vehicle Research Studio where students have the opportunity to learn how to program the drones and ground bots to complete tasks autonomously. SHU really pushes the idea of helping technology and business meld together by hosting events geared towards helping young entrepreneurs have the tools and resources that they need to drive their ideas forward and even onto shelves. Having the opportunity to work with passionate professors and mentors alongside other like-minded individuals really helped me to go out into the world. Well, that's it for me. Back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Gabe, for showing us around the IDEA Lab and telling us about your work. It's such a great place to find students of all majors, and it is full of opportunity. Great work. Take care, Gabe. Looking around campus, you'd be surprised there aren't many of those big lecture-style classrooms you may see on other campuses. That's on purpose here. At SHU, the student-to-faculty ratio is 14:1. SHU professors take the extra step to help all their students succeed. My friend Tomas from the School of Communication, Media, and the Arts is at the Materi Center for the Liberal Arts and can tell you a little more about the amazing professors here. Tomas, please take it away.
Thank you, Alex. So I am a rising senior here at Sacred Heart University in the communications program. I did not start my college experience at Sacred Heart, but I found myself transferring to Sacred Heart University for a more personalized college experience. Professors have an open door policy here at Sacred Heart, which allows students to drop in at certain times during the day to talk about classes, projects, films, anything that comes to mind that has to do with academics. I took full advantage of this program and found myself being mentored by several different professors in several different specialized fields. I was able to utilize all the information I accumulated from these programs and put it out into different projects. Sentinels of the Boreal was a film I produced, filmed, and directed, and it was a project that I worked on my junior year of Sacred Heart University. This film helped me cultivate relationships with internationally recognized brands such as Canon USA and Tamron Optics. This film also helped me get relationships with internationally and nationally recognized organizations such as the National Audubon Society. Sacred Heart's SMA program was integral for the success of this film, as it not only allowed me to reach out to certain grants and foundations to accumulate money, but also allowed me to meet with these professors who had been out in the field and had that professional experience so I can get my foot in the door in the professional field once I graduated. One of my professors was a big influence and guiding force, as he not only told me how to tell a story, but also taught me how to obtain funding, which helped move the project along. Another one of my professors showed me how to use the footage that I had accumulated over the course of the project and put it into a way where the project flowed and the film was at its best. SHU's dean of the school met with me weekly, and his willingness to help me not only invigorated me, but also inspired me to keep on going. This film helped me get a foot in the door with organizations like PBS Nature and National Geographic, and also create a piece that I'm very proud of. Thank you for letting me tell my story, Alex. Now back to you.
everybody. Second half coming your way. Let's take a look at some of the first half stats here, Joe.
Do we have to? The bottom line, and you mentioned that as we went to break at halftime, when you shoot 32% from the field, 14%, 0 for 4 from the free throw line like the Highlanders did, have 13 turnovers and 4 assists, the fact that you're only down 3, it's somewhat of a minor miracle.
13 turnovers for the Highlanders.
And the big number you don't see is the number of minutes that I see a Pryor played. That's 5 minutes and 17 seconds, and that's the reason why the Highlanders are still hanging around.
Yeah, the whole game really changes when she's not in. Alejandra Thuniga got going a little bit later. She missed a couple free throws there at the end.
Well, Zuniga's played almost 19 minutes. 2 for 12, 0 for 3, 0 for 4 from the line. And Pryor only played 5 minutes, so you know she's going to have a ton of energy this second half.
Yeah, she's going to be revved up and ready to go, as are we. A 3-point game with the third quarter coming up. It's Sacred Heart. It's NJIT here on NEC Front Row.
Unlimited growth with even more to learn. Visit futureforfootball.com to get ahead of the game. Find out where to play, what equipment to use, and get the latest from leagues around the country, including pro tips and parental info from the experts. These resources make it easier than ever to create your plan and make your play.
Third quarter coming your way here at the Pitt Center. Sacred Heart leads it 22-19 as Nicira Pryor starts out there on the floor for Sacred Heart. Wood, Johnson, Bonner, and Dudley will join her. Sacred Heart switches baskets. Pryor going to hoist right away. Too short. Dudley, the offensive rebound. She's going to try to take it herself. Inside. Gets it to go.
Really impressed with Dudley. That's her third offensive rebound in 14 minutes. What I like is she battles in there. She's patient. She has good use of the pivot foot. Pretty poised for a freshman.
And there's a steal for Pryor. That's what she does so well. Already making an impact. And this was the matchup we wanted to see. Pryor thought Wood was going to go to the back door. She didn't. And it's a Sacred Heart turnover. It's the matchup we wanted to see. Pryor against Thuniga. We finally get to see it here in the third as Sacred Heart puts the pressure on. Kenna Squire. Madeline Doggs drives, too strong, gets her own rebound, puts it up, and she's going to go to the line for two. Lily Anderson, Doggs, Aria Myers, Squire, and Thuniga out there for the Highlanders.
We mentioned the Highlanders struggled really from shooting from three from the foul line. And one of the things that with Pryor out for Sacred Heart, they're able to hang around. The other thing that's kept them in the game is they have 11 offensive rebounds now. So while they haven't been able to convert, they're slowing the game down, keeping the ball on the offensive end, giving Sacred Heart less opportunities to score.
Dudley almost had it. Wood able to corral it. And now here's Pryor. Sacred Heart trying to build on that 5-point lead. Johnson to Dudley. Back up top to Pryor with that sleeve on her right knee. Dudley sets the screen. Pryor pops, can't get it to go. Rebound NJIT. Thuniga swings it out. Driving inside. That's too easy. Madeline Dogs for 2.
Not a great three-point shooting team. You have to be careful of your closeouts. When you come out to guard a non-shooter, okay, and I'm not saying Dogs is not a great shooter, but she's 0 for 4 coming into this game from 3. Play her drive. Sacred Heart did not do that.
And a travel is called against Johnson, so NJIT is going to get it right back. And they kind of whip it on down the floor. Outside. Shot too short. Bonner the rebound. Here's Johnson now as they settle into the half court. Pryor. She's getting space. She drives, and that's good. Nycera Pryor for 2.
And again, they're playing her drive. She's not a great three-point shooter. She can shoot 15 and in, but she just takes it to the belly of the defense, draws contact, and finishes. If she gets on a hot, on a hot streak, you're gonna have to offer a double team on her, make her give up the ball.
Squire gets it out to Thuniga, who has a mismatch with Wood. She kicks it out to Aria Myers, who hoists the 3. Can't get it to go. Lily Anderson skies in for the rebound, and Wood hits the deck as we get a whistle. The foul's going to go against NJIT. It's against Kenna Squire.
So unofficially, I have NJIT 1 for 9 from 3. Do you realize out of the 14 players on their roster, 12 of them are 28% or under from the three-point line?
Bonner, too strong. Under 7 to go in the third quarter. Anderson. Bonner's playing good defense underneath. Thuniga goes in, can't get it to go. The offensive rebound for NJIT, and Pryor comes up with it.
Again, Thuniga gets to the rim, can't finish, but because of the help of Sacred Heart, the Highlanders get a second shot, just have not able to been capitalized. It's a great drive by Thuniga. Good offensive rebounding by the Highlanders.
Amelia Woods' 3 can't go. NJIT takes over. Myers guarded by Pryor. Anderson pumps. Gets it back out to Squire, who's looking to drive. Wood blocks her shot, but we get a whistle, and there was contact. And that's the first foul on Wood as Squire heads to the line she just got a little piece of her arm there. And that's going to draw the call every time. Squire's first free throw is good. Her second attempt, good. Something NJIT hasn't been able to do today, capitalize from the free throw line, but those two were good. Pryor picks up her dribble. And we're going to get a whistle here as Bonner had it, and it looks like it's going to go against Aria Myers with 5:37 to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, that time Dudley was set in her positioning to set the ball screen for Pryor, and Myers trying to get over the top did not do a good enough job and committed the foul.
And you could see Myers asking the official, hey, what did I do, as she trots off.
And you got a foul on the inbounds play. Sacred Heart runs a lot of elevator screens. You have two players that are on the side of the lane, okay, in the space for an offensive player, usually Amelia Wood to come through or any type of shooter. That time Dudley went a little too soon and caused the moving screen. Good call by the official.
3-point game in the third quarter. Squire thought she had a mismatch against Pryor. She kicks it out. Thuniga double teamed. Somehow gets it to Squire, who's trying to make something happen. They're going to call a double dribble.
You know, Justin, you like the possession by Highlanders because they posted up Squire on Pryor. That rhymes. Squire on Pryor. They posted her up, which is a mismatch. They got the ball to her a couple of times, passing up the open three. Good, just a bad job of the double dribble.
Pryor, a quick 2. Maybe that gets her going. Lead back up to 5 for Sacred Heart. Williams driving, can't get it to go, gets her own rebound. Another chance, and that drops in. Trinity Williams.
Great second effort by the junior Trinity Williams, showing the fact that she probably, because of her age difference over Emma Kirby's a little stronger, able to muscle and get that second rebound and finish.
Johnson gets the offensive rebound, but it's stolen away by Squire, and NJIT ends up losing it on the fast break. It's going to go back to Sacred Heart. So another turnover for NJIT. That's not going to make Mike Lane very happy, as he has some words with Squire. We're back after this. 28-25, Sacred Heart leads.
To them, the whole world looks like an opportunity, one to be seized, built upon, and made better for their sport and the people around it. To student athletes, every opportunity is a chance to change what could be and show the world what opportunity can do.
The NJIT upcoming schedule, you see some familiar names on there, rounding out December, and then going into the new year, a couple home games, and the University of Albany kind of mixed in. Joe, your thoughts?
You're looking at NJIT playing a lot of NEC schools. St. Francis U out in PA, LIU from Brooklyn. As I mentioned earlier, NJIT is picked 5th in their conference, okay? And you look at UAS Lowell, they're picked 9th. Albany's picked 3rd. The bottom line is you want to get your team ready and healthy for those two conference games on the 6th and the 11th. But this is an NJI team, as we talked about. They're not playing well today. I watched them a couple of games on film. I think they're a team that's well coached, does a good job of scrapping, getting to the rim. But it's a young team and a team that's, I think, going to be competitive come America East time.
Sacred Heart, 19 points today off of NJIT turnovers, as they hold a 3-point lead here with 4 minutes and 22 seconds to go in the third quarter. Nicira Pryor, we're seeing more of her in this second half. She sat most of the first in foul trouble.
Well, she won't come out this half unless she picks up a 4th foul. Again, this is a Sacred Heart team tonight that's struggling to score, and she's the player in there that can make plays.
Johnson in the corner. That's good. Sierra Johnson from long range.
And Justin, that's 2 for 10 for Sacred Heart. Johnson has both threes.
Here comes Amelia Wood on the steal. She finishes. She read that. She jumped on it and finished. The lead is now 8 for Sacred Heart. Squire to Vaughn. Pryor all over her. Squire on Wood. Kicks it out. Inside. Off the glass and good. Mackenzie Wright Rawls.
And it's funny, what they do, NJIT, when they go 4 out, 1 in, they'll post up their guards. They've been posting Squire up a lot. And she's in there, obviously, to make post move, but she's better at drawing the defense and kicking out and making a pass. And that's what they're benefiting from. I think that's good strategy by NJIT.
Emma Kirby's shot misses. NJIT now can cut this lead. Reese Vaughn, that's too strong. Goes off the top of the backboard, but Squire comes up with a rebound and finish.
It's another good possession. Again, they go to Trinity Williams in the post, and she kicks it out. Vaughn is 5 for 11 before today's game, 46% from three. That's a good look for her. Good job with the offensive rebound for the Highlanders.
Thuniga to Vaughn. Tries to throw it up. Trinity Williams going for it. Johnson hits the deck, and there's a fight for it. We're going to have a jump ball. What an answer from NJIT after a couple buckets from Sacred Heart, the three from Johnson. NJIT came right back, but how about Amelia Wood? I mean, she was all over this. They telegraphed that. She was on it.
Just a good job. I saw them yesterday in their practice going over the Highlanders' offense, and good job of knowing the scouting report. You know, when you make a steal like that in the passing lane, you're anticipating that pass. You're looking at the passer's eyes and body language. I think Amelia Wood did a terrific job, benefited, got the steal in the easy two.
Thuniga just meets a wall in Dudley and turns it over. Sacred Heart now with a chance to extend the lead. Wood thought about it and then decided to go back to Pryor up top. Thuniga gives her space. Pryor up, and we have a whistle. And it's going to go against Thuniga.
You know, she's got that incredulous look on her face, and you almost want to believe her, but it looked like a foul, and sometimes, even when it's not a foul, it looks like a foul. I think, you know, I'm watching NJIT give Pryor space. I think they're giving her too much space. I think she can make that 15-footer. It's the three that she struggles from, but Pryor has the ability to take the game over offensively and defensively.
Hits the first, misses the back end. Under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. There goes Pryor. Nicira Pryor off the glass and the foul. Pryor doing what she does so well. The steal, running the break, absorbing the contact, and finishing.
Well, again, we talked about, I keep calling her Kelsey Wood. Kelsey Wood's sister, Amelia Wood, anticipating that guard-to-guard pass, and no one does it better than Pryor. And, you know, it's a combination of being a little sloppy by NJIT on that pass and also paying attention to the scouting report. Good defense by Sacred Heart.
The lead back up to 8, and NJIT turns it over again. Maddie Doggs wasn't able to corral it.
I talked about Pryor being, you know, able to dominate on both ends. You know, she was Rookie of the Year last year, Player of the Year in the conference, was MVP in the conference tournament. She averages almost 3 steals per game. Today she's already had 2, and she's barely played about 8, 9, 10 minutes.
Sacred Heart looking to extend this lead. It's Dudley, the elbow jumper. The lead is up to 10, the largest of the night.
You're getting production from some of these freshmen and some of these bench players that maybe won't play as much, is only going to benefit this team when they get healthy down the stretch.
And there goes Pryor. 2 points.
Yeah, Coach Lane needs a timeout right now. He can't be happy with the way his team is turning the ball over. Those are automatic layups. Again, turnovers are bad. Live ball turnovers are even worse, especially when you got little mom out there, and I see a Pryor. She's like Allen Iverson.
The first real run of the game. I'm surprised Coach Lane didn't take a timeout. Under a minute to go in the third.
Well, you and I would think that. I would call a timeout, but every coach has their own style. I just think it's a good opportunity not only to get his team back to where they need to be, but it's a teaching moment but he's going to let them play. I mean, they do have 4 timeouts. Both teams have 4 timeouts.
Shot clock has been turned off. Under 20 seconds to go. Nicira Pryor has come alive in the third quarter. Sacred Heart lead is up to 12. They're trying to make it more. Pryor off the dribble, drives, loses it. And NJIT is going to take over. A last-second heave is going to come up short. But Sacred Heart not counting that last possession. What a great ending for the Pioneers there in that third quarter. A great run, 41-29 the score. We're back with the fourth quarter here on NEC Front Row.
The Sharks are your inaugural Northeast Conference Volleyball Champions.
It's a day for the Knights as FDU wins it.
Merrimack Warriors are your 2023 men's basketball champions. Lofted far down the left field line. It is gone. A 3-run homer. Chambers in lane 5 runs away with it. The Sacred Heart Pioneers are Northeast Conference women's basketball champions.
We are excited beyond belief to welcome the Lemoyne Dolphins into the NEC family.
Always with her head on a swivel. Sullivan. That is filthy. St. Francis, they win the 2022 Northeast Conference Championship.
To Sacred Heart versus NJIT here on NEC Front Row. Let's take a look at some of Nicira Pryor's statistics. 3-time NEC Player of the Week. She's making an impact on this Pioneer squad. Jessica Minetti told me last week that Nye is 9. She checks off every box that a coach is looking for and is a once-in-a-lifetime kid to coach. She said Nicira is a different breed of a human and is more of an unbelievable person than an athlete. Back to you guys.
Winning that NEC Rookie Defensive and Most Valuable Player last year. Just an amazing season for her.
You know, and I mentioned earlier, Justin, that the transfer portal is not as big or is not as prevalent, in my opinion, in the women's game as in the men's. But I am certain that she had some opportunities to go to a higher level. And just the fact that she came back, she's a leader, she enjoys herself, shows a tremendous amount of character and loyalty on her part.
She's great to speak with. I know she's done so much too, even, you know, in her community, hosting the backpack drive a couple months ago for so many kids, making sure they had school supplies. She is humble.
And that time, Nalisa Dudley, I talked about her patience in the post. Sometimes it's a good decision to make your move. If you don't have it, kick it out and then repost. You know, look for better position. I think that time she did a little bit too much in the paint, and hence the turnover.
We get a whistle here against Wood.
And, you know, you're going to talk strategy in terms of structural stuff, if you will. The fact that NJIT has not been able to score many baskets has not allowed them to set up their press. Okay, that really is their MO. You know, picking up on full court, dead ball turnovers, baskets, and once they get into that mode where they can make some consecutive baskets on the offensive end, like here they go now, okay, they're extended now. There's a steal. So they make the free throws, and if I was Jess Minetti, I wouldn't be afraid to call a timeout to make some adjustments.
Pryor thought about it, then decided to bring it back out. Wood pumps the three. It's stolen away by Squire. She's only got Pryor to beat. Off the glass and in for Kenna Squire. NJIT trying to go on a little bit of a run here. They're going to stay up and pressure. It's that press you talked about.
And Squire is their leading steal maker, averaging 2 a game. And that's a young lady who was third-team All-America East last year. So, again, the made baskets will allow the press to set up. Good timeout because Jess Minetti can see that the Highlanders are getting some momentum. And every time they're going to score, be ready for the press. And the nice thing, you got Pryor on your team. Pryor's a one-man press breaker. She can get the ball and make plays.
We're back after this on NEC Front Row.
Are your inaugural Northeast Conference Volleyball Champions.
It's a day for the Knights as FDU wins it.
Merrimack Warriors are your 2023 men's basketball champions. Lofted far down the left field line. It is gone. A 3-run homer. Chambers in lane 5 runs away with it. The Sacred Heart Pioneers are Northeast Conference women's basketball champions.
We are excited beyond belief to welcome the Lemoyne Dolphins into the NEC family.
Always with her head on a swivel. Sullivan, that is filthy. St. Francis, they win the 2022 Northeast Conference Championship.
Justin DeVellis, Joe DeSantis, and Molly Jacob here with you at the Pitt Center in Fairfield. The fourth quarter underway. Sacred Heart clinging to a 9-point lead. It was up to double digits before NJIT had a couple buckets, started putting the pressure on. Jess Minetti calls the timeout to regroup. And Sacred Heart has kind of held control in this game. They didn't have Pryor for a lot of the first half, and they really extended their lead with a big run at the end of the third quarter. Now they're just trying to hold on to it. Hasn't been the prettiest of games, but Sacred Heart leads it by 9 here with 8:40 to go.
A change of defense. It's a half court. Look for the trap on the first pass. The best way to beat traps is to make long passes, okay? You can't just run up and trap. When you make close 15-foot passes, it's easy to trap and rotate. A skip pass that Pryor did right there is a perfect way to make that press back off.
Faith Pappas checks in. Pryor's going to hoist the three. No good. That shot almost hit the banner up there. Inside. Can't get it to go. Pryor with the rebound. They're off and running. Squire tried to poke it away. Almost had it. Pryor lost her balance. Throws up the shot that's short. Marissa Gingrich is coming back the other way. Squire drives. And that ball's good. As Faith Pappas hit the deck, NJIT has now cut it to 7 here with 7.5 to go as they put the pressure on the Pios. They have Johnson in the corner, and they're going to get a quick foul on Aria Myers.
Yeah, good call by the official. I want to say an easy call. The play was right in front of her. I think if you're Myers, you got to give Pryor space. She's so quick. She can get to spots quicker than most people you practice and play against.
Myers' fourth foul. Sacred Heart will take it out. The press was giving him some trouble. Jess Minetti barking out orders. Pryor gets it to Johnson, who gets some space, and she's going to go to the line to shoot 2.
What Sierra Johnson does best, she's kind of the jack of all trades. What she does best is it's a great call there to get an isolation. You bring everybody up, and you get Sierra Johnson the ball at the elbow. And why is that important? Well, first of all, her strength is to drive to the basket, okay? She's good at putting it down, especially with a strong hand. As I mentioned, she's the jack of all. But when you get the ball elbow, 15 feet, you only need 1 or 2 dribbles to get to the rim. And as quick as strong as Johnson is, there's really no opportunity for the Highlanders to offer help. I think that's a great call by Coach Minetti and her staff.
Johnson sinks 2 free throws. The lead back up to 9, but just as I say that, Thuniga drops in a layup to get it back down to 7.
Now remember, Justin, she's 3 for 13, 3 for 14 from the field. So she hasn't been good. But remember, sometimes it's not how many you make, it's when you make them. So if she can get hot and do what she normally does, she can get NJIT on the top here. Long way to go.
Long way to go. Under 7 minutes to go. 7 on the shot clock for Sacred Heart, and it's stolen away. Thuniga to Squire to Lily Anderson underneath, a great pass. Maddie Doggs finishes. That was a good look.
The hardest teams to go. There's another steal, Justin.
Squire can't get it to go. Doggs the rebound underneath. It's Thuniga, and Sacred Heart's going to have to get a timeout. The Highlanders have cut it to 3.
The score was 43-29, I think. And I mentioned that's not lack of baskets has disallowed NJIT to get into the press. That has changed.
And let's throw it on over to Molly Jacob on the sidelines. Molly, what do you have for us?
Yeah, Justin. So earlier during warm-ups, Alejandra told me that NJIT is growing as a team. And now Alejandra was voted American East Rookie of the Year, as you guys mentioned. But she told me that when she first came to NJIT, she didn't even know that was an award. So when she was given it to her, she was very honored, and she was very thankful that as a freshman she was able to get so many minutes of playing time. And she's still saying that today, and is hoping that they could come out strong in this fourth quarter.
I mean, they've been strong. I mean, it was like a flash. The last 30 seconds, NJIT able to cut this thing to 3. I mean, you said it, long way to go. And now it's down to 3.
Now, it's funny. I could see the sense of urgency by Coach Lane. Okay, normally his MO is to full court press. I'm sorry, 3/4 court press. Pick up at the foul line, top of the key. And because they were not able to get into their press, and because they were down double digits, he extended it to full court to make it more aggressive, and it certainly has paid off.
Lead was up to double digits. Now it's down to 3. Over 6 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. I mean, you look at all the points Sacred Heart has had off of NJIT's turnovers, and it's crazy to think that this game is so close, but it's been that type of game.
Yeah, and, I talked about the keys for NJIT to get to the free throw line. Okay, they haven't done a great job of that, only 10 times. They average getting to the line over 17 times a game. I asked them to limit their turnovers. They certainly haven't done that, 21. But what they've done is they have the other defensively. I asked them to contain Pryor. Now, Pryor's been in foul trouble, but I think they've done a decent job with that, going from the press, going back to half court, keeping Pryor in front. But I tell you the one thing that they've really done, if they limit second shots, they have a 16-6 edge on the offensive glass. That has kept them in the game. The press now has energized them and put them in a position to be only one possession down.
Sacred Heart's last 2 games have gone into overtime. We got another close one here. As Pryor trying to stop this 11-2 Highlander run. Can't get the shot to go. She wanted a foul, and Thuniga takes over. Up top to Squire. They could tie this game or cut it to 1. Johnson guards Squire. Underneath, try to spin, get it to Anderson. And they all fall down. And we're going to get a whistle here. Dudley, Johnson, and Anderson all hit the deck. And the foul's going to go against Johnson.
There's the replay. There's the double team. And they all fall down. That was a great line.
There's a 3 from Thuniga. Can't get it to go. More bodies on the floor. And it looks like it is going to maybe stay with NJIT here. Yeah, they're excited.
That's a 17th offensive rebound. And again, obviously the numbers don't lie, but what you don't read about is every time you get an offensive rebound, you're forcing Sacred Heart to play more defense. Nobody likes to do that.
Thuniga inbounding to Squire. Dudley on her. They switch. Now they get it up top to Anderson, and Pryor steals it away. Nicira Pryor, like a flash, 2 points for the Pios.
Just when you thought it was comfortable to run your stuff like the Highlanders did in their comeback, here comes Pryor. She makes a great defensive play, finishes the easy 2.
Just so quick. That stopped at 11-2 run, and now we get a blocking call. It's going to be a block against Sierra Johnson.
You know, you're taught when you're taking a charge as a primary defender to anticipate the charge because you don't want to really get that contact. I think that time Sierra went down a little too early and undercut the ball handler. Good call by the official.
And she heads to the bench as Faith Pappas checks on. Amelia Wood, Dudley, Bonner, and Pryor. And I don't think Pryor's left the floor here in the second half. And we get another whistle. That's going to go against Jada Bonner. Her second foul, but Squires going to go to the line here. Clock stops, and a chance for the Highlanders to get some more points.
Well, the best case scenario is to continue your comeback with the clock stop. And you certainly want Squire on the line, 92% coming into the game, 2 for 2. So she's over 95% right now as she makes the 2. But getting comeback points with the clock stopped on the free throw line certainly helps. It also allows you to set up your full court press.
3-point game. Bonner as the ball's almost stolen away. Underneath to Dudley. She finishes.
I'm going to tell you something. She's all business in there. She don't mess around. She gets good position. She switches, changes speeds and direction, and goes hard. That's a big basket. You know, we talk about the baskets of buzzer beaters and the shots made at the end, but you're talking about a Highlander team that's making a comeback from the freshman to make a play like that and increase the lead to 2 possessions is huge.
And there's Dudley again. A couple months ago, she was leading New London to the state title. Now she's here, and she's making an impact as Bonner drives, and there's a whistle. Foul goes against Thuniga, her 3rd foul of the game. Under 4 minutes to go. 20 on the shot clock for the Pios. Pryor, guarded by Gingrich. 9 on the shot clock. Pryor, 5, got to get something going, and she's going to get called. She took an extra step, and it's a travel.
Well, 2 things. You can guarantee pretty much every possession that Sacred Heart has in the half court, she's going to handle the ball. And you can pretty much bet at the end of the shot clock, if it's an important time, she's going to handle the ball. Good defense at time by the Highlanders, forcing the turnover.
Trinity Williams back on the floor. After a good defensive possession for the Highlanders, Williams tries to go inside. She gets it to go off the glass.
Great use of the pivot foot. Great use of the body. Good size, able to take a lot of space with her lead foot. Good finish going to a strong hand.
3 minutes to go. We got a 3-point game here on NEC Front Row. Justin DeVellis, Joe DeSantis, Molly Jacob as Nicira Pryor has it up top.
Yeah, this game has went from setting the game back about 100 years to an exciting game.
8 on the shot clock. Pryor puts it up. That's good.
That's her game. Getting into the lane, making the pull-up. She can take it deeper, as we said. Some of the numbers you want to look at. Sacred Heart, 2 timeouts left. NJIT, 4 timeouts. The possession arrow goes to the Highlanders.
Thuniga goes right at him. Can't get it to go. And Sacred Heart now can slow things down and work for a good look. To Bonner. To Wood. underneath. Sajeda Bonner trying to make something happen. That's good. Leads back up to 7.
Bonner, who's been quiet tonight, the three-point shooter, making 38%, getting good position, coming up with a big basket.
A quiet night for her, but that was a big bucket as NJIT is going to make good use of a timeout. Mike Lane, what's he telling his team right now?
Well, he's reminding his team that they have an opportunity to win. Again, there's a shot clock, so they can't hold the ball, Sacred Heart. Number 2, they have 3 timeouts left. Okay, they can extend the game. And the most important thing they need to do is get stops. So, be patient, don't panic, let me coach. I'll call timeouts when I need it. Let's get the ball to the rim. Remember, we shoot 76% from the foul line. We have not been good today, but we're better than that. Get it aggressively, get it to the rim. If we need to, I'll call timeout, but you've got to get stops.
7-point lead for the Pios. It was down to 3 just a short time ago as Squire tries to get it underneath to Trinity Williams. Ball clangs around, can't get it to go. Pryor hits the floor, and it's going to stay with NJIT. That one, I don't know how that ball didn't go in.
Love the effort by Williams. That ball typically goes down. And if there's somebody hitting the floor, if you can hear somebody hitting the floor, you know it's Pryor. She spends more time on the ground than any player I think I've ever seen.
And Sierra Johnson comes onto the floor. Faith Pappas comes off, and that bucket's good. Aria Myers, lead down to 5.
And that's exactly what you don't want if you're Sacred Heart. Giving up quick and easy baskets.
1:30 to go. Pio struggling to get it across, and a whistle. It's going to go against Thuniga as she tried to swipe it away. Pryor, too good, and the whistle. 4th foul for Thuniga. 20 on the shot clock as Pryor handles it. Pios looking for a good look. Wood guarded by Myers. To Bonner, who drives off the back rim. Rebound, Sacred Heart, and a whistle. Nice take from Bonner there, as both teams are in the bonus now.
Justin, that's a huge offensive rebound by Sierra Johnson. And I had mentioned that as one of my keys, and obviously we talked about NJIT has dominated the offensive glass. They've done a good job blocking out. They normally give up 14 offensive rebounds a game, and coincidentally, Sacred Heart gets 14. But if the Highlanders, NJIT, can get that clean rebound, they're off to the races, can cut this to a one-possession game.
Johnson knocks down the second. She missed the first, so it's still just a 6-point lead with a minute to go here in the game.
And with 3 timeouts, you don't need threes. You need to get the easy 2 and then the quick timeout.
Pryor on the floor again. Thuniga threw it off the glass, and she's going to get 2 shots. So the clock stops and a chance for NJIT to cut into this lead.
The beautiful thing about getting to the foul line, and I've talked about it 100 times, not 100, but a couple times, you mount your comeback with the clock stopped. You're able to set a press. Here's the key thing. You can then substitute your better defensive players. Now, you don't want to take Thuniga out, but if you're in a situation where you're going to foul automatically, which I don't think they need to do yet, you might want to get her out so she doesn't pick up her 5th. So keep your team in there. Maybe get a sub in to stop the clock on this free throw. Set up your press. Go for traps all over the place, and then get a stop.
And I'm sure she would love some of those early free throws back as she knocks down both of them. Dangerous pass to Pryor. But we're going to get a whistle.
I don't like the foul. I don't think it was intentional. I think it was just sloppy execution on defense. Don't reach for the ball. Pryor's got position. She's going to get fouled. Trap her, Justin. Trap her. Get the ball out of her hands, and then look to foul the poor free throw shooters. Again, we talked about NJIT, 76%. Sacred Hearts, no slouch either, 72% from the free throw line this year.
Pryor knocks down the first one. And hits the second. Lead back up to 6. 59 seconds to go, and NJIT head coach Mike Lane's going to call for a timeout.
And a good job on the timeout, because remember, in the women's game, much like the NBA game, on a timeout on a made shot or a player getting a rebound that doesn't advance it, they get the ball in front of the bench.
So a necessary timeout. NJIT will have it close to their basket when they come back out. Man, I mean, this game was headed one way. Sacred Heart built a big lead. NJIT came right back, and here we are.
Yeah, give NJIT credit. They played awful. I think both teams were awful in the first half, but the fight was good. The second half, I think the game became more natural to NJIT because they were able to score some baskets, get into their press. Now, if I'm NJIT, I'm looking to do something in the post, okay? I don't have the up-to-date stats on the three-point shots, but they're not very good this game. They're 25% all. That's not their strength, 25% all year. Get some nothingness, move the ball, pound it in. Look to either create an N1 situation or kick it out for a shot fake and a drive. If I'm Sacred Heart, who barely plays zone, you might want to come out and surprise NJIT by playing the zone, and that could take away post feeds or dribble drives.
A game Sacred Heart has got to have. NJIT inbounds it to Thuniga. Under a minute to go. Inside, off the dribble, floater, back rim, rebound Pryor, and it's going to go the other way.
Missed opportunity by the Highlanders. They set up a little big screen, which means they send a little player, a guard, out and screen Trinity Williams, the bigger player in the perimeter, to come in. I thought she had good post position to make an attempt at a field goal at N1 or 2 free throws. That defensive player was on Williams' back. They did not deliver the ball, hence the quick shot, the tough shot by Myers.
So Aria Myers fouls out, and they have to bring on another player for her as Pryor heads to the line. Back rim. Misses the first. It's Kelsey Vaughn who comes on, or excuse me, Reese Vaughn comes on for the Highlanders.
And Reese Vaughn is out there for a reason. She's the Highlanders' best three-point shooter. So if you're Sacred Heart, you better find out where she is and get her out of her comfort zone.
Ooh, Pryor misses both. Thuniga trying to make a move, throws it off the glass, can't get it to go. Rebound Dudley, and a foul against NJIT. And they got chances, NJIT, but they just couldn't capitalize down the stretch here.
Well, it's not over because you still if Dudley misses these free throws, it's still a 2-possession game. You still have 2 timeouts left. The important thing is you got to get stops and you got to get quick baskets, and certainly you got to start to foul intentionally.
Dudley, the lefty from the stripe. She hits the first one. 32 seconds to go here. Dudley gets the lead back up to 8. And we're going to have a timeout for NJIT. As Sacred Heart, now really they built this lead up. NJIT going to have trouble. There's still time, like you said. But the lead is now 8. And NJIT has struggled to put it in the basket the last few times down the floor.
If you're Sacred Heart, you love the potential of Nalisa Dudley. Okay, we talked about her aggressiveness, her quick moves, her post presence in there. And if she's going to continue to play like that, she's going to get fouled. Okay? And she comes into the game shooting 65%, 13 for 20, 2 for 2 there. I think those were her first 2 free throws. She's impressive as a freshman.
So 32.6 to go. Reese Vaughn will inbound.
And you got to play Vaughn because she can shoot the 3.
And Squire, looks like Squire throws it away. Sacred Heart will take over as Pioneers head coach Jess Minetti is going to take a timeout to talk it over.
I mentioned earlier, Justin, that's a tough angle from the top, the middle area, to throw the post pass. You really should make the extra pass to the wing. That becomes an easier post entry.
So 30 seconds, Sacred Heart trying to snap this 4-game losing streak. Talked about their last 2 games going into overtime. Pio's banged up. This game was close for the last few minutes. A win they had to have, as Johnson's going to inbound the ball. Ball is tipped. They were trying to get it to Wood, but it'll stay with Sacred Heart.
Watch the quick trap. Make sure you have proper spacing.
They get it to Pryor easily. Is NJIT going to foul? They do. Pryor will head to the line.
I think for a moment that some players got confused as to who was going to what basket, because I think Pryor had an easy layup.
Sinks the first 20-point night for Nicira Pryor.
It wasn't because of the foul trouble, which she only played about 5.5 minutes. Wasn't one of her best games. But it's amazing how a player like that can make a difference on both ends, even when she's not playing as well as she normally does.
Still got to 20 points. The last few seconds will tick down here. NJIT tries to throw up a shot. Sacred Heart the rebound, and that will do it. Sacred Heart snaps a 4-game losing streak here tonight at the Pitt Center. Your final score, 57-48, a win the Pioneers needed to have. It wasn't pretty, but they got it done. Jess Minetti, happy. She'll head to the handshake line as the Pios protect their home floor in the first ever meeting against these two schools. And ladies and gentlemen,
it's a day for the Knights as FDU wins it.
Merrimack Warriors are your 2023 men's basketball champions.
Lofted far down the left field line. It is gone. A 3-run homer.
Chambers in lane 5 runs away with it. The Sacred Heart Pioneers are Northeast Conference women's basketball champions.
We are excited beyond belief to welcome the Lemoyne Dolphins into the NEC family.
Always with her head on a swivel. Sullivan, that is filthy.
St. Francis, they win the 2022 Northeast Conference Championship.
well, back here in the Pitt Center, Sacred Heart just came out with a win, snapped a 4-game skid. We're going to throw it down to Molly Jacob, who's down there with Nicira Pryor. Molly.
Thanks, Justin. Nicira, 3-time consecutive NEC Player of the Week for you. You led your team in points today with 20. What does it mean to be a leader on this team?
It's all about leadership on this team. You know, like I said, I'm a sophomore, so it's a challenge, you know, but you step up to the plate, and whatever my team needs, I just get it done.
December is the last month of out-of-conference play. What are you hoping to learn this month?
Next month, I'm hoping to, be ready for conference and, defend our champs. We got to stay focused and stay connected and do the things that we know that we can do.
Thank you. Good luck to you. Send it back to you guys.
Thank you, Molly. Nicira Pryor out with some foul trouble early, but she still put together another great effort. 20-point performance from her. Sacred Heart able to win by 9 points here tonight. Molly Jacob has head coach Jess Minetti. Molly.
Here alongside Jessica Minetti. Coach, you got your first ever win against NJIT, the first time you guys are facing each other. What does this win mean for you guys?
It was a great win. I think we needed to get back to our winning ways, right? Like, we have been this close for the last couple games, and we've played great and we've fought, but we haven't seen the outcome. So, obviously, new opponent, home game, great energy in the Pitt Center. Like, it feels good. It feels good to be back there, and it feels good to beat an opponent we haven't beat before.
You told me that this sophomore class is special. How would you rate their impact tonight?
Yeah, our sophomore class is special. They've really stepped up. You know, I think we're getting a lot of contributions from different people. We got caught with the injury bug a little bit, and we've challenged other players to really step up. So this sophomore class is amazing, right? Like Nye, Sierra, Amelia, they're all doing their part, and they're doing a lot of it because they have to play a lot of minutes. But I think that this group as a whole is really figuring out how special they could be if they all play their roles and we play to our strengths and stay together.
You told me that Nicera Pryor checks off every box that a coach is looking for, and she just spoke very humbly. You told me she was humble too about the teamwork and effort. What could you say about her today?
Yeah, she caught 2 quick fouls in the first quarter. We had to play without her in the second quarter. The team did a tremendous job kind of weathering the storm. And then she's able to come back in with fresh legs, do what she does in that second half. We had to make some adjustments. They played her a little bit differently than we had seen before. So she is very resilient, right? She responds to everything, and I'm going to continue to preach how proud I am of her role as a leader on the floor. She understands time and situation. She's not taking bad shots in the late shot clock or late game moments. So she really is coming into her own as a point guard and playing really, really consistent basketball. And so I know that our team just rallies around her and loves that.
And one last question. We know that Alejandra was the American East Rookie of the Year last year. She went up against the NEC Rookie of the Year from last year as well. So what was it like seeing that matchup?
It was awesome. We mentioned that she was a great player and she had a tremendous season last season. Obviously, we have the same player on our team, but truthfully, she's also their leading scorer. And we've had some issues shutting down a team's leading scorer. So really, Rookie of the Year or not, our goal was to just not let their leading scorer reach their average, and we did that. And we did that so much so that she ended up fouling out at the end, and we really, really had a great defensive effort on her. So I think if we can continue to do that and challenge another team's best player to really not be able to get comfortable, we can then dictate the pace and flow of the game, and we can play how we want to play, which is what you saw tonight.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck to you. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thank you, Molly. Congrats to Coach. Put a bow on this one for me. Final thoughts.
Well, the bottom line, it was ugly early. I think both point guards, who were the generals of this team, did not live up to expectations early. But I think it was NJIT not giving up. The problem is they made too many turnovers, giving Sacred Heart a chance to win this game. I think overall it was not a pretty game, but Minetti and her crew did just enough to get the W, a big W early in the season.
A big W. They snapped that 4-game losing streak. What a night tonight at the Pitt Center. Turnovers, Sacred Heart, all those points off the turnovers. But this one was close. It was up to double digits the Sacred Heart had. And then to come away with the win in a very close game as Nicera Pryor. Great game. Great game tonight. Great game. So that'll do it for us. Justin DeVellis for Joe DeSantis, Molly Jacob, everybody behind the scenes tonight, our director, our camera people. Thank you so much for joining us. Sacred Heart with a win. They get 3 straight road games after this. For Joe DeSantis, Molly Jacob, I'm Justin DeVellis signing off. NEC Front Row. Have a great night, everybody.